Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Carmine Sabia for Explain America, and Zohran Mamdani, he just got caught in a 9/11 lie that could blow his campaign apart. Before we get started, please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Those little things really help us out, and they help our channel continue to grow. Mamdani gave a speech the other day about 9/11, where Cuomo had laughed at a joke somebody made that Mamdani would cheer on another 9/11. Maybe they weren't joking, I don't know. But he didn't do himself any favors when he didn't deny it. Instead, he gave a whole speech, and the crux of that speech was how Muslims, and particularly his aunt, were the real victims of 9/11. Now, let me tell you something. Muslim people were unfairly stereotyped, and a lot of unfair and horrible things happened to them after 9/11. I know some, and it was bad, and I'm sad for that, absolutely. But to talk about his aunt as the real victim of 9/11, that was something that didn't sit well with a lot of New Yorkers, but it gets worse. His aunt doesn't wear a hijab, like he said, and she was nowhere near New York City, never has been. She doesn't live anywhere near there. When confronted by reporters about this, he starts backtracking. Well, it was actually my dad's cousin, but we called her an aunt. Okay, it's like his dad's distant cousin. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Dude, there was a million ways you could answer that question to begin with. You've answered it horribly, and if you lose this election in New York, I don't think you will, but if you do, the only person you're going to have to blame is yourself for snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. I want you guys to watch this and let me know what you think in the comments.
There is no doubt that there will be opposition, as we see that opposition today. And what has allowed us to surmount the unbelievable amounts of money that has been spent against this campaign, be it in the primary or the general, has been the mass movement that we have created. And it's a mass movement now of more than 90,000 volunteers who are knocking on doors across the 5 boroughs, who are making hundreds of thousands of phone calls to New Yorkers. And in addition to that mass movement, we are building a coalition with elected officials and leaders across the city and state. I'm proud to be standing alongside one of those very elected officials, in State Senator Liz Krueger, who is the chair of the Finance Committee in the State Senate. These are the kinds of partnerships that we will build so that we can deliver on this affordability agenda. And I think what New Yorkers deserve is a mayor who understands it's their responsibility to actually serve those New Yorkers, to see those New Yorkers, for those New Yorkers to be able to ask them questions. And that's why you've seen that no matter where we are in the polls, no matter what day this is of the campaign, I will be outside around New York City speaking to New Yorkers, moving through the city like a New Yorker, because it is only through those acts that you can understand the pains that New Yorkers are feeling in trying to afford the city that they call home.
All right, we've got time for a few more. We'll go Matthew right here.
How will you respond to President Trump?
Recently, in a recent address about Islamophobia, you referenced your aunt and some of the harassment she was facing post 9/11. Is that a blood relative?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I was speaking about my aunt. I was speaking about Zehra Fouhi, my father's cousin, who sadly passed away a few years ago. And for the takeaway from my more than 10-minute address about Islamophobia in this race and in this city to be the question of my aunt tells you everything about Andrew Cuomo and his inability to reckon with a crisis of his own making.
What do you think about all that? There was a huge turnout there yesterday, whether people liked you or not. You had a lot of energy there. Some people we talked to said that they thought it was the most energy they've seen in the Democratic Party